As more and more information comes out, we get a better picture of the alleged crime. What do you think is next in the investigation of this triple homicide?
Bryan, next is to figure out why Rhoden did it. We know he did it, but it's just really fascinating here. You got two victims, two of which have nothing to do with this golf course. They're not members of the country club. They're obviously probably killed before, their vehicle stolen, driven on the golf course. The third poor victim did work for the golf course and happened to stumble upon this individual Rhoden having killed two people, and he was victimized as well. So, and then really that what Law and Crime first reported, and credit to them, that Rhoden was arrested that evening for a DUI and a number of traffic violations. Why he was let go, he clearly wasn't a suspect at the time, but certainly days later, police were able to connect the dots, and now they need to connect everything to put him away for murder of three individuals.
Yeah, so many questions, especially when you talk about the victims here, of someone in their 40s and their 60s, different states, different cities. I can see this definitely hurting Lori's other cases when she's found competent, but could Chad somehow turn these facts that he isn't charged here to his advantage?
Bryan, I agree with Terry on this one. And Chad's only defense in this case is that Lori did it. The bodies are buried in his backyard. So we know there's going to be finger pointing. There's already been motions to sever these trials. Chad is going to go first because of Lori's competence issues, as you raised. And really, the only defense here is that Lori did it, and I didn't know that she did it. So the fact that she's now involved in another murder and he's not does help the defense. But still, I don't think this is a very strong defense case. The prosecution took their time, but this is more or less bulletproof, and I expect them both to be convicted.
Yeah, I think Chad's definitely going to use what I call the Shaggy defense. It wasn't me, but a lot of evidence pointing towards him. We'll see how that plays out. Losing your cool and some of the points that the prosecution raised, could that be a reason why this was picked apart by the prosecution in terms of what this expert put on the record?
Bryan, again, I agree with Terry on this one. Dr. Anderson got rattled. This is the defense's star witness. Their whole theory of the case was that Dylan walked out, 12, 13-year-old, and, was attacked by animals. And there's so much evidence in this case that favors the state. You got the blood in the house and the vehicle. You got the cadaver dog alerting. You got this really strange relationship between father and son. So, and the fact that the body was dismembered and miles apart, all that is really bad for the defense. So they really needed to come out the gate with a very strong witness that was going to support the theory that this was a wild animal attack. And I don't think Dr. Anderson did that, unfortunately, for the defense.
The officers got their person, the 6-year-old girl at home. Your reaction to the officers' quick thinking and jumping into action?
Outstanding work by these police officers. And, as attorneys, we're in the business of misery. So we're often hearing about cases that have gone bad, kidnapping, murder, those types of things. So the fact that the officers' quick thinking and those bystanders, good for them for getting involved, and this young child, 6-year-old, is safe at home. We got to give credit where credit is due. And this is a great story heading into the weekend.
Absolutely. Wishing all the best to that little girl and her family. Hopefully she's home safe and sound with those who love her. That could help Durst against this testimony, or is it best to just ignore it and focus elsewhere?
Bryan, I know why the prosecution is doing this. John Lewin wants to plant that seed in the juror's mind that even though he got off with that Houston jury, that this is a murderer, this isn't an old man who's in frail health. He's capable of killing someone and chopping up the body. But this may backfire because this is already a very long trial, and these jurors were expecting 4 to 5 months. It's going to go longer because of medical issues with respect to Durst that have delayed, and we've had some dark days. Judge Wyndham is allowing everything in, parts of the Jinx, maybe the whole Jinx, as well as All Good Things, a fictional movie. So this trial is really dragging on, and I can see the defense arguing, hey, we've already tried this, we've litigated it, he's been exonerated. You're wasting our time, prosecution. So this could potentially backfire, but I don't see any other way for the state to do this because this was their strongest case with respect to the evidence related to this murder, even though it resulted in an acquittal.
Yeah, John Lewin.